We the greatest music. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are so glad you took the time out of the day to listen to the Pot Smoking Moms. Obviously, it's a podcast about smoking pot and being a mom and all kinds of wonderful stuff. So thanks for joining. I am Sunny D along with my homegirl, Captain J.
Hello, hello.
If you like our podcast, please rate, subscribe, share, be friends with us on social media, show up to one of our Zoom sessions, send us some emails. We love hearing from you guys. Please hit us up. Potsmokingmoms.com is the website. Everything we have is there. And what do we got to smoke today? What's on deck?
Well, today I have a nice little bowl here packed of some hybrid yellow jack, some True Ground from True Leaf.
Cool. Hitting that. I am hitting up the Ray-Bay from last week. I still have a
lucky little bee. I couldn't find any of that. I asked I go to Miami Gardens and they're like, no, we don't have it, but we will. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye out.
Yeah.
I don't hit bowls that much anymore.
Oh, you got a bowl. I got my bong out just for the sound effect, which was not very sound effecty, but still wonderful.
I hope you were able to join us in that.
Yeah, we also hope you can join us. We are planning for a puff and paint Zoom sesh, so stay tuned for those details. We all kind of agreed on the last Zoom sesh that that's what we wanted to do for the next one. And, you know, even if you can't draw, I can't draw shit. I was talking to people on live on TikTok and I was like, I can maybe draw a robot.
I mean, I can't. I'm not very artistic at all, but I went to a paint thing with my sister and my mom, and it was a lot of fun. And we painted our dogs, and mine came out silly, but I still had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, and I hear like lots of wonderful those paint party things.
Yeah,
and I've never gone to one, but this should be fun. And our microphone will work this time.
Oh my God.
We will run a dress rehearsal ahead of time. That was very unexpected.
Oh my gosh. Thank goodness for Bradley.
Yeah, thank God Brad was there because I was having a meltdown.
Yeah,
I was like, we're not
it was pretty bad.
Yeah. But thank you for all of those who participated in the last Halloween Zoom session. That was really fun. We have an opportunity to see you guys as well at the CannaFest in Sarasota Fairgrounds on November 7th. The tickets are sold out for that. I mean, it's free tickets, but you have to register so they have an idea of a head count.
Yeah. And I think they were trying to work to expand the capacity.
Yeah.
Because I think that they had a set capacity put by the county or something
for sure,
like that.
Because of COVID.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So that's pretty crazy. That kind of makes me nervous.
I know, that makes me nervous too. I hope for the most part everybody
wears masks
and is, you know,
social distancing.
Yeah, at least being cognizant of it, because I think people might be so excited to like finally do something that's not, you know, and then they kind of, all of the rules of like social distancing and whatnot kind of goes out the window because you're like, woohoo!
Woo, party!
You let your guard down a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's going to be November 7th, so we know that a lot of you are going to go see us out there. That'll be super duper fun. And Halloween's coming up. I know this is like a different Halloween. Everything is different this year. I mean, obviously, we just kind of, you know.
I'm still trying to decide whether or not we're going to trick or treat. I saw those, you said you got them for your girls, those little hands that they're like a hand on a stick.
Right. It's like a little stick.
It has a little net.
A little monster hand or skeleton hand. And there's a net and they put the little treats in there.
So it's how they can reach out like from a distance to get the candy. And then you just dump that into your pail. And then you just come home and you would have to clean and wipe all that stuff down with, I guess, you know, like.
I don't know. You can spray with Lysol.
Exactly.
I mean, the candy is, I don't know if it's that serious. But I would maybe take an extra precaution or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think people are also trying to kind of like figure out into creative ways of like handing candy out. So I've seen some people do like shoots where they just drop the candy and it goes down a little chute.
Yeah, I saw that on TikTok.
That's cute.
It is. It's fun too. Adds a whole other
element to the whole thing.
Exactly.
We're going to be going to a trunk or treat at a church because I have a good friend who had gone last year and she showed me pictures and I mean, her church went all out. Like the trunks were decorated. They all had themes.
Are you going to decorate your trunk?
No, because
you're
we're
gonna be
a
the one
mishmash.
without?
We don't have a theme. Like
You're going to be the one trunk that's not decorated?
No, you don't have to have a trunk.
Okay.
They have.
So you park and then you go to the trunks that are participating?
Yeah, they set up an area.
I see.
And then
I've never done a trunk or treat.
I've never done it either, but I mean, based off of the pictures, it's like organized within the church. So like, there's main people in the church who like volunteer to do the trunks, and then I'm sure they're open to other people doing their own.
Yeah,
but I'm
sure they're probably all members of the church at least.
Right? Exactly. And then
well, that sounds nice.
Yeah, organized and just like something. I always like the idea of a trunk or treat because life is not how it was when we were kids. I just don't know. I mean, maybe if you know a neighborhood well enough to say, okay, this neighborhood is like legit every year they throw down, they're cool, it's good, and you know that neighborhood exists, that you could do that. But I'm not familiar with any of those. And like, even before COVID, I was very weary of like going out to trick or treat.
The Miami Lakes neighborhood, the one behind the church that does the pumpkin patch every year.
Yeah. Oh, well,
that
that's
neighborhood
a really nice
goes.
neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a really nice neighborhood. They all got money, and they go all out. Yeah. Every house in that neighborhood is like super decorated. They set up outside with like music and tables.
See,
so
that's
you're not even really going up to the doors very like much. It's mostly to the driveway. Yeah. So I've never seen trick or treating like that before, and I was like, "How did this exist in Miami Lakes this whole time?" And I did not know about this. So that was really fun.
That's cool. So
we might go there. If the thing is that
like
if it's crowded,
yeah,
because it was very crowded when I went last year, but there was no coronavirus last year.
What if nobody's really doing it like that this year either? You know?
Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know.
Well, I can send you to the website if you want to do the trunk or treat. That's a for sure thing. But they do it in like time slots too.
Yeah, but I don't want to drive up to Broward.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised you're here today, so fucking whatever.
I'm just sad that, we can't do something like
normal.
Like our Halloween party that we do every year.
I know. Last year's is great.
This was supposed to be the year. It's going to be a Saturday night. It's going to be daylight savings, fall back.
So the next day
you get an extra hour in the middle of the night, so you get a whole extra hour to party and recuperate. It was going to be beautiful, full moon.
I know, but you know what? Your house is currently being renovated.
Yeah, but it's perfect. It's scary.
Yeah, it's scary for people to have accidents that are not. That's like, no.
Oh God, yeah.
But yeah, that's like, yeah, the OSHA violation.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be having like full on
renovations,
plumbing issues for the entire house to have all the plumbing replaced. That wasn't supposed to be happening, so that added a whole bunch of time to my.
Yeah, I know.
That's my life right now.
Hey, but think of the next year's Halloween party.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a pool. Hopefully,
shit's gonna be balls to the wall, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so
and hopefully by then, things are normal, a little more normal again, and we can have an actual party.
I mean, I'm not holding my breath unless it's underwater in your new pool. No, but I don't know. Everything is improvised.
We'll keep it small. If it's still crazy.
Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Everything else okay with the renovations? No other surprises?
It's just now feels like it's going slow because now we have to wait for insurance claims and stuff. So I feel like it's just slowing down because of that. But it was my son's birthday this past weekend, and your husband's.
I know. They have the same birthday.
Yeah, they share the same birthday. So we're actually going to go to Disney this coming week for a couple days in the middle of the week to try to make sure that it's as dead as possible. So far, my friend who's meeting us there has been keeping tabs on, how you have to reserve the day in advance on their website.
Uh-huh.
So he's been keeping tabs.
But they post how many people are scheduled to go that day?
It's always this. No, they don't post how many are scheduled to go that day, but he checks to see if it's still green, meaning that there's a lot of availability still, or like green that it's still you're still able to book on that day.
Oh, so there's even moments where you can book same day?
If I guess if I don't know if you can do same day, but he's looking just to see if it's filled up already or not. Because once they meet like a certain capacity, they don't allow any more reservations for that day. So far, you're still able to book on that day, which means there's still openings, which means it's not fully like sold out.
Fully at capacity, yeah.
Which
even
is still,
with the minimal capacity that they do.
Yeah, and I think
allow.
they're doing like 25% capacity right now.
Oh my God, I want to go so bad.
I know.
Okay, all right. Well, but listen, by the time this airs, you're already gonna be there.
Yeah,
okay?
I'll be there when this airs.
And are we gonna get some stories maybe?
Yeah, probably. I'll share some
glimpses?
stories, some stuff. And we're like, the thing is, my son's in school, so we're not going into the park until after school. He'll be doing school from, the regular school time from 8:30 to 2 in the hotel, and then we're gonna go in the park.
Oh, that's still cool though.
Yeah,
and that's like incentive.
Yeah,
to do school. But yeah, send some stories, do something.
I'll do something.
Yeah, because we all want to
live vicariously.
I know.
Be going with me.
Well, yeah, right. Too much. If I was by myself, just whatever. Report back on how Disney goes. I'll be keeping an eye on you.
We'll be the guinea pigs, I guess.
Yes, you will be. We can't get sick. So,
no, I'm gonna be very careful.
Yeah, whatever. But Disney's like the cleanest place on the face of the planet.
Yeah, they're being extremely careful and very strict, so I'm not worried about it.
So that's pretty cool. I'm like super excited. What is your favorite Disney food? Like, what is it? Do you have any specific plans that you're gonna do while you're there? That you they're must-haves. You have to do it.
Well, the first park we're going to is Hollywood Studios, and for sure we're going to have to do as much as we can of Star Wars. The problem is it because we're going late in the day, we can't do Rise of the Resistance. You can only do those if you get there early.
Wow.
Rise of the Resistance, you have to like book your flight basically in advance, and I think that the last ones they do is at like 2:00.
Oh. Well,
yeah.
Hey, but it's always cool to leave one thing that you don't do for like the next time that you go.
Yeah, when you're a pass holder, that's not a big deal because
Yeah.
you're going to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just excited to just see,
Star Wars
Land. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do Magic Kingdom. And then I was going to go to Epcot for a little bit just on Thursday before we left, but we're probably not going to do that.
Overly ambitious.
I know.
Don't be so tired you don't want to do a goddamn thing afterwards. But I feel like
I'm going to make my husband drive, so.
But I feel like it's less people, so you won't be as tired.
Yeah.
Because I think the overwhelming amount of people at the parks is really one of the main factors for why you feel so fucking
and
exhausted.
the fact that you're there all day and we won't be doing that.
Yeah. So sounds like a fun, healthy time.
Yeah.
And we can't wait to hear how it went on the next episode. In the meantime, you guys know what time it is. It's not time to skate in the opposite direction. It's time for News Nugs. You know your hosts. I don't have to say our names again. So this story is an update on a story we discussed back on episode 34 in July of this year. It's the Purple Heart veteran. Well, just to kind of recap the story. In August 2016, Sean Worsley, a 33-year-old veteran who earned a Purple Heart in the Iraq War, stopped at an Alabama gas station while driving to North Carolina to help his grandmother relocate after a hurricane. At the station, police asked Worsley and his wife to turn down their car stereo, and although they complied, the cops searched their car. Inside, they found a prescription bottle filled with medical marijuana. Worsley had legally purchased the medical marijuana in his home state of Arizona on the recommendation of a physician. The veteran was legally using his medicine to treat a traumatic brain injury that he had sustained during the war, in addition to symptoms of PTSD brought on by the conflict. But although he had obtained this medicine legally at home, medical cannabis is still very illegal in Alabama. Cops arrested Worsley for weed possession, and a judge sentenced him to 5 years of probation and mandatory drug rehabilitation. The Veterans Affairs Drug Treatment Program declined to accept Worsley, however, because he did not actually have a drug problem. But because the veteran never ended up participating in the unnecessary rehab program, Alabama revoked his probation and declared him a fugitive from justice. He ran into trouble with the law again at home, where he was busted for possessing weed with an expired medical marijuana card. The Arizona authorities extradited him back to Alabama, where a judge ordered him to serve a 5-year prison sentence. I believe that's where we left off in the story, right?
Yep, that's where we lost Hurd is when he got that sentencing, 5 years in prison. So then his wife then set up a GoFundMe page to help raise funds and awareness to help him get out of jail, and eventually raised over $100,000. After 8 months of hard work, the campaign paid off. Last Wednesday, Alabama authorities agreed to release Worsley on parole. We're grateful to be able to pick up the pieces and begin rebuilding our lives once Sean is released, said his wife, in a statement reported by the Alabama Political Reporter. The case of Sean Worsley deals with a convergence of several issues, said a state representative, Neil Rafferty, who helped the campaign for Worsley's release. It deals with Alabama's harmful marijuana laws, particularly concerning medical marijuana. It deals with our country's misunderstanding and treatment of veterans returning home and transitioning to a civilian life, and it deals with the excessive policing that puts suspicion on a man doing nothing more than listening to the radio and playing air guitar with his wife. With the news of Sean's parole, it's welcomed and celebrated. It only serves to highlight the legislative chamber's duty to make right these wrongs and allow our criminal justice system to focus on crimes that actually endanger community safety, said Rafferty.
Wouldn't it be an amazing world if, like, we actually took the time to investigate things that needed to be investigated instead of, like, really taking, like, just kind of, I mean, it's like, I'm sorry, I say it's picking on people. It's like,
it's exactly what's happening.
It's picking on people, and it's such a waste of resources all the time. It is a waste of resources. There's so many other things that they
should be really investigating and looking into instead of wasting time on this. A man with legal cannabis that was passing through a state.
Yeah. And that's why we need to kind of continue just this, you know, just trying to get legalization. I mean, like, just any kind of reform. Like, we could take whatever we can get.
Yeah. And we all need to show up to the polls. And that's why this next story is actually really important, because there is going to be 5 states on this coming election. They're going to have measures on their ballots for either cannabis legalization in some form. So we have Arizona, Montana, Mississippi, New Jersey, and South Dakota. So this election cycle, voters in these 5 states will see ballot measures concerning marijuana. The 33 states with some form of legal cannabis could gain additional company this election season as voters in these 5 states consider the ballot measures to legalize marijuana. 3 states will see initiatives to legalize recreational marijuana. Another will decide on medical use of cannabis, while the 5th will consider separate measures for both. Voters in 3 states will vote on measures to legalize medical marijuana recreational marijuana in Arizona, Montana, and New Jersey.
We hear New Jersey coming up a lot.
Yeah.
So in Arizona, Proposition 207, the Smart and Safe Act will be on the ballot. If passed, the initiative would allow adults 21 and older to possess, consume, or transfer up to 1 ounce of cannabis, home cultivation of up to 6 plants per adult or 12 plants per household, with more than 1 adult would be permitted. Prop 207 would also create a regulatory system for the commercial production and sale of cannabis products, including social equity provisions to help ensure a cannabis industry that's representative of the community. The initiative also allows for expungement of past convictions for marijuana offenses.
Very important.
The measure would generate an estimated $300 million in taxes yearly, which would be used to help fund community colleges, public health, transportation, and public safety.
In New Jersey, a 2-year attempt by lawmakers to legalize the recreational use of cannabis by adults failed to gain enough support to pass in legislature. Instead, voters will see Question 1, which, if passed, would amend the state's constitution to legalize the recreational use of marijuana by those 21 and older. The measure authorizes the state's existing medical marijuana overseer, the Cannabis Regulatory Commission, to regulate the new adult use market. Detailed regulations would be created by the agency and the state legislature after passage of the ballot measure.
So New Jersey, we know there's a lot of you listeners out there in New Jersey.
We have buddies in New Jersey, so
get on that. Montana voters will see 2 cannabis measures on their ballot for the November election. The first, Initiative 190, would legalize the possession and sale of small amounts of marijuana for adult use, establish a regulatory system to license cannabis businesses, and levy a 20% tax on recreational purchases. New Approach Montana, the group behind both ballot measures, estimates that taxes on retail sales of cannabis in the state would generate $236 million in new revenue for the public coffers by 2026. The second measure, Constitutional Initiative 118, would amend the state's constitution so that the legislature could set the legal age to purchase cannabis at 21. Currently, the Constitution guarantees all rights of an adult except for the purchase of alcohol to all persons 18 years and up.
Voters in Mississippi will have the chance to legalize the medicinal use of cannabis with Initiative 65, which qualified for the ballot via a citizen's petition. If passed, the measure would allow physicians to recommend cannabis as a treatment for patients with one or more of the 22 qualifying medical conditions such as cancer, multiple sclerosis, and PTSD. The initiative also establishes a 7% tax on medical marijuana products and creates a regulatory system for administering the program. Confusing the issue is Initiative 65A, which was placed on the ballot by the legislature as an alternative to the Citizens Initiative. So the first one was people want that, and then the second one is the state wants it. The more restrictive measure would only allow non-smokable forms of cannabis for all patients except those with terminal illness. Initiative 65A also requires medical marijuana products to be of pharmaceutical quality and would allow state lawmakers to create the rules and regulations governing the program.
Okay, so people in Mississippi need to take note and make sure you are voting for the one you'd like.
Yeah, Initiative 65, I think. Not 65A.
We're giving them the option. So South Dakota, they considers both recreational and medical at the same time.
Yeah. I guess they're like, hey, we're not going to take one step, because most states are like, okay, first we'll start with medical, then we'll go recreational. They're like, no, let's take them both.
They're like,
now.
Yeah, seriously. Two
we're
cannabis measures will be on the ballot in South Dakota, where voters will decide on legalizing recreational cannabis and medical marijuana separately. Initiated Measure 26 directs the South Dakota Department of Health to establish a registration system for patients with qualifying health conditions, including those that cause severe pain, seizures, muscle spasms, or nausea. The measure will allow registered patients to possess up to 3 ounces of cannabis and establishes a regulatory and taxation framework for the production of commercial medical cannabis. Also on the ballot is Amendment A, which would legalize the use of cannabis by adults 21 and up. Possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana and cultivation up to 3 cannabis plants would also be permitted by the measure. The State Department of Revenue would be responsible for licensing commercial marijuana businesses and establishing regulations to govern their operation. Sales of non-medical cannabis would be taxed at a rate of 15%, with half of the proceeds going to South Dakota public schools and the remainder to the state's general fund. Both ballot measures are supported by South Dakotans for better marijuana laws. Can you imagine if your purchase of cannabis goods would cut a percentage to the schools, to your kids' school?
That's amazing.
So you could walk up to school and be like, yo,
we're helping fund that DARE program.
Yeah, you may call me a stoner mom, but we're helping fund your school. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, so these 5 states, if you guys are listening, Arizona, Montana, Mississippi, New Jersey, and South Dakota, make sure you go vote, because your state may be having marijuana come to you soon.
Absolutely. Alive. Don't be caught slipping on this one, guys. And we also want to tell Miami to not get caught slipping, or South Florida not to get caught slipping. I love you, Miami! Because we got some important thing on the ballot as well. I mean, so if you haven't voted yet,
this is important.
This is important.
Because this could block future legalization if this passes.
And this, I honestly didn't know about this until we started talking about this. But an amendment to kill future amendments, right? So it's a measure on this year's November 3rd Florida ballot. It could determine whether legalization goes through in 2022. And strangely, it doesn't have anything to do with marijuana use at all. So the verbiage is not going to be geared toward marijuana use.
No. But the measure says, sponsored by a group known as Keep Our Constitution Clean, will appear on ballots as Amendment 4. The measure would make it harder, if not nearly impossible, for all future constitutional amendments to pass. So not just legalization. We're just talking about any amendments that Florida is going to be voting under. So currently under Florida's system, if a constitutional amendment gets at least 60% of voters, it becomes law. And when we passed cannabis in 2016, I think it passed with over 70%.
Yeah, 71%.
Yeah. So the measure would make it harder, okay, This new amendment would require that all future constitutional measures to be reapproved by voters in a second general election.
Yeah, so they will hold 2.
No, not that they'll hold 2. You'll have to wait. That would mean that even if voters approve recreational marijuana in 2022, the next measure would not be voted again until 2024, not until the next general election.
No.
It has to be voted on again.
Jesus.
That's ridiculous.
It also exhausts resources again.
Well, you're always going to have the general election every 2 years. It's just like, why do you have to wait another 2 years and make it have to be voted on again when it's already been passed by the voters once?
But then it's a lot of money going into all of that, because imagine everything having to take for you to continue to get people to recognize and vote for that. That's all resources and people having to.
But the government doesn't care about that. They want to make it harder for you to change. Yeah. They don't want citizens to be able to make it easy for us to say what we want. So politicians in Tallahassee are making it even more difficult for the people to vote on our own laws. The next big step is full adult use legalization, which has traveled a very bumpy road in Florida so far.
Never a stress-free road here in Florida.
So in 2019, the advocacy group that we've talked about many times is Make It Legal Florida. They failed to gain enough signatures to qualify for a measure for this 2020 ballot. Unlike ballot measures in many other states, Florida's effort wasn't done in by the coronavirus shutdown. Instead of hurriedly being passed, the legislators adopted a law in 2019 that moved up the deadline to require the signature. So it really made it harder for us to meet that deadline in time.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, they're trying to stop this in any way they can.
Yeah. And it's number 4. So that's how it shows up on the ballot.
Yeah. So we need to vote no on that if you don't think that.
It'll just make it harder for us.
To pass anything.
Yeah.
To pass anything.
Yeah. All right. So keep an eye out for that. And we're really, really excited to.
And go vote, everybody. Go vote.
For
it's
sure.
Important.
And it's easier than ever. It really is.
Yeah.
I don't know why this hasn't been like as easy before. I mean, honestly, if 2020 has taught us anything, is like, it can be done. Okay. You can work from home. Okay. All right. You can work from home and you can vote without having to show up at the polls. But by all means do if you have to. And I'm sure it's not even going to be that many people there this time.
Yeah.
But we did the Dropbox, and we're,
You've already gotten yours in.
We did.
I'm going on election day.
Yeah,
I'm going at 7 a.m, right when the poll opens.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'll be looking forward to the Instagram story that you'll be posting from your voting situation. So we are very, very excited for this next interview. If you're familiar with our podcast, and chances are you've heard of the Pop Moms podcast. We both started at the same time and have had the opportunity to watch each other grow. And obviously, we bonded over having similar interests. We finally got the chance to hang out, and we found we had even more in common with one another. Here is that conversation. We hope you enjoy.
I totally do. I mean, you guys know, I totally was like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like, I just love that there's so many people like emerging into this space and making it like a normal conversation. Like, I was not like, I don't think I ever really like pictured like this where I would be, right? Like, just like being like talking about it and like having people jazzed to talk about it. And like I said, I was picking up a sub from Jersey Mike's the other day, and like the chick who is like behind like making these dope ass sandwiches like looks up and she like looks at me, and then she looks down at my shirt, and then she looks back up at me, and she's just like, I like your shirt. And I was just like, fuck yeah. Like, it was a businesswoman in her head's a nug. And so, but my son was really funny. He goes, Mom, I'm so sorry you ruined your sweatshirt. And I was like, huh? He's like, you dropped guacamole all over it. So I was just like, okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. I had my husband has a friend who makes cakes, and she had all kinds of cakes, and my daughter was looking at all the cakes. Wow, because they're all like cartoons and different things. There was a one with weed leaf and a blunt, and she was like, look, it's mommy's cake. And I was like,
you're like, smart girl.
There you go. She knows.
Mommy's cake. I don't luckily we're under quarantine, and I don't have to watch her saying these things in public, because we're still kind of, people over here will still shoot you some serious side eye.
This is the South, so people are like really judgmental here. about that. You guys have it good over there. Over there, it's a lot more progressive, I would say, and liberal than down here in Florida.
Yeah, we got to really, it's a mix. It's weird over here. And the more further up north you go, the different, South Florida is not anything like the rest of Florida.
But you're not originally from Oregon, right?
Seattle.
Sorry.
No.
Seattle.
So I grew up in, what's funny, so we both like technically, are there bugs?
Maybe. I thought I saw something.
It's like fruit fly season. So I grew up in the Midwest in Wisconsin, and then I spent some time in Minnesota, and then we've been in Seattle for, let's see, my daughter is almost 5, so we've been here for like 6 years.
Yeah. And what made you guys decide to move out to the West Coast?
Well, so we kind of, I kind of like always wanted to be on the West Coast, but Amazon did. I worked for Amazon for 4 years when we first moved here.
Yeah, same. Amazon brought me out here. I grew up in the Midwest also, and then lived in New York for a while after I graduated. I went to grad school there, and then after that, came back to the Midwest for a second for work, and then I was like, I have to get out of the Midwest. And then my husband always wanted to be on the West Coast. He hated New York, and that was like my jam. Like I loved it. And so I was like, fine, we have to like compromise. I'll go out West, but I get to pick where, like, cause I'm not doing like, there's a bunch of places I was like, nope. And then we came out to Seattle for our friend's wedding. And I remember we just checked in at the hotel. They were down at the hotel bar drinking, and it had like an open like patio space. And I come out and I could just smell weed. And I literally was like, and like followed it and found these 2 people, and I just stood there. I was like, where'd you get that? And he's like, well, this is mine. But he's like, are you looking for the dispensary? Like, he's like, I brought it from home. But he's like, are you looking for a dispensary? I was like, yeah. And he like told me where it was. It's the first dispensary that opened, they just legalized it. I was like, oh. And I just stood there, and he was like, did you want to? Yes. I was like, that's why I'm standing here. Okay, thank you.
It's like the little dog that like won't leave you.
I literally just stood there, and like he was on a date. Like clearly they were like, I was like, and afterward I left, and I was like, oh, sorry, dude, but thanks. And then I left.
So then you're like, this is the place. This is where I can live.
Yes, because they accepted me.
I was like, I remember I toured like when I had passed I think when I was here to interview for the job for Amazon, it was December, and like December in the Midwest is like, especially in the 2 winters that we had in Minnesota were like the polar vortex ones. Mm-hmm. So like we were coming off of like a really cold stretch, and I was like, I called my husband, and because this is the first time I'd ever been in Seattle. And so I called my husband, and I was like, dude, I am like walking out here in a sweatshirt. Mm-hmm. And it was like -32 in Minnesota, and there was like a huge snowstorm, and he was like, all right, let's do it. Like, I don't care as long as it's like not, this. So, yeah. And I was like, and weed's legal.
Yes.
And we were like,
that's a big bonus.
Weed's legal. Bonus. The weather's great. You can't beat it.
How did you guys meet?
Yeah. Was it at Amazon? You guys both.
That's what I figured. Like, when you guys kind of said you worked at Amazon, both of you.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, we were on, I had just joined like their department. I hadn't met anyone yet. But I had to travel down to ASICS down in my favorite airport in America, John Wayne.
She had started at Amazon a year before I had as well.
And so I went, and I was traveling with this young kid, and I said something that was like some sort of like profanity or like rudish thing. And he was like, oh shit. He's like, you're going to really like Eunice. And then like the rest of it, we basically kind of just like walked up to each other, and we're like, I heard we're going to like each other. And we're like, so what are you about? Like, what do you think that's like? I'm like,
It was my first week at Amazon, and this other kid on our team, he came up to me, and he was like, so I'm just going to give you some feedback. And I was like, okay. And he's like, cause he and I like had like clicked, and we were like just chatty. And he's like, everyone's like really scared of you. Like we had 5 females on our team that time, and they're all like terrified of you. It's like, why? What the fuck's wrong with them? Like,
well, maybe that reaction.
That's exactly what they're afraid of.
Like, she's just a very passionate lady.
Like, ew.
She's just very passionate.
And loud. So loud, So like.
So does Amazon?
How did you guys meet?
Oh, we met actually because
we met through somebody I had
a mutual
dated.
friend.
So we went to the same high school, but
Didn't
we
know
weren't
each other.
friends in high school.
Graduated the same year.
I had her husband in first thing in the morning PE class, and we would both always shoot each other looks like, God, why do we fucking have to have PE first thing in the morning? And then I would see her walk around, but I don't know who she is. And then years later, I think, years later, I dated someone who was friends and
with
then,
us, yeah. And then he brought her around, and then they broke up, but then we stayed friends with her.
I have a charming personality. Everybody stays friends with me. I think I'm friends with all of my ex-boyfriend's friends.
That's so funny.
They're like, oh, we're going to keep her.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, sorry, bro. Sorry things didn't work out with us. At least they worked out with me and your friends.
Right. That was just better anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that's more long lasting, usually. Did you guys grow up in South Florida? Same?
Yeah, we did. Same neighborhood.
Hialeah, Florida. It's a very predominantly Cuban American little part of a suburb of Miami. So I was in and out of here in South and Georgia. So I moved a lot between the two states. My mom and I moved a lot.
No, I was born and raised here forever.
She's never left. Lived anywhere else.
I'd like to leave though and live somewhere else for at least a fucking year.
I lived for 2 years in Germany, 2.5 years. My husband was in the military, so we were overseas. Schweinfurt, Germany.
Where is that? Isn't there like a military base in like Mönchengladbach or something like
There's
that?
a lot of military bases out there, and they tore ours down though. My friend went recently to visit. He took photos, but yeah. But at Amazon, do they test for cannabis?
Oh, funny story. No, but so when I was here for the interview, we were like, I had friends of friends who'd lived here and they smoked a ton of weed. And so they totally they hooked me up and whatever. And she worked at Amazon and I was like, hey man, I just told you that I got an offer. Like, be a friend. Like, do I have to worry about anything if I smoke with you? Like, am I going to get fucking drug tested and like maybe not get this job? It was like, no, don't worry about it. And so I was like, okay. Because
I think it's such a waste of money for companies
even though it wasn't
but,
here.
But it's also like yes, they did not drug test typically. But I will say that I do know somebody that had it was a DUI something on their record, and they had to put it in their application, and they did drug test him.
Oh.
So I don't think they do it unless you have to, because it's like
that almost seems like discrimination.
No, but
yeah.
It's like drug tested because he had something on his record related to substance.
But I think drug test policies have to be either all or randomly.
Yeah.
Like,
so maybe he was randomly.
Yeah, random.
But yeah, so we weren't. So I didn't have to, but either. But I also like at that point in my life was like. I didn't like Amazon recruited me, and I was like, "Do you guys drug test?" Because like I'm at a point where I just don't apply. Yeah,
exactly. I feel like that too. I feel like that too. At this juncture in my life,
I'm not gonna take a job.
I don't need to take a job
can.
if like whatever, bro.
Yeah,
that's like the biggest reason. Like, so my mom like doesn't really like that I do the podcast at all. And so like, that's like the biggest thing is she's like, oh, I'm just so like, she's so crippled by fear that like, this is somehow going to like not have an opportunity come my way or like anything like that. Mm-hmm. When like now as we're like taking on clients for like our retail consulting, like they're talking about the podcast and how like they think it's dope we're doing it. And like, so it's like, I'm like, Mom, like, it's just not that. And like, and to your point, like, I don't want to work for someone or with someone who like isn't down with this because I'm not trying to pass like those judgments on whatever you want to do. Like,
How did you decide to start the podcast? And I know at first it was just you, Kate, and Eunice came on board a little later. How did all that come to be?
So we had like a group chat with 4 moms, and then we dubbed ourselves the Pot Moms because we were like the friends who would smoke about it or like be like, oh, I just had this one strain. It's like super good for this. Or like we kind of just like talked. I mean, and it was like a year-long friendship, and it was like funny because it's like ebbed and flowed, and some people are like still, you know, in some and some aren't, and like we've all changed a ton. So it's just like, it's really interesting how like that had such a profound thing. But I think it was like the first circle of women who were moms that I met and knew who like also smoked pot and like partook and were like totally just cool with it. Like they were just that was what they were about, and they weren't ashamed of it, and they weren't like ever questioning if that made them like a bad mom. And to me, that was like, I mean, again, ridden with Catholic guilt, like that was just like mind blowing for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, like there have to be more people out there like us. Like there has to be, because whenever you find them, you know what I mean? And like, when you do, it's like a spark. Like you're just like, oh my God, you get it. Like, because you get it.
So much of it.
You know?
Same,
and so I think, and then I was like, fuck it. And so I was turning 30. How old am I now? Like turning 33 or turning?
Yes, you were turning.
I was 30.
No.
Because
That when we had the
34 now.
conversation, and then you were gonna launch it on.
I wanted to do it for my birthday because I have this big thing with like my identity not just being so like stricken with being like a mom, you know, which is so funny because I would fight that for so long, but then like that's in essence what like got me to do something like create a podcast about it, you know, like if I wasn't a mom, I might not have, you know, done it. So this thing that like I looked back as like such a hindrance, I mean, not a hindrance, sorry, that was like really harsh. Like something that, you know, I mean, corporate wise,
like,
yeah,
tied to that.
yeah.
Right?
And so it's very, the universe, I like trying to take cues from the universe. So here we are.
Yeah, it's been really interesting too, because I feel like we feel kind of guilty because we've always been friends, and so we've all kind of always smoked, and then we just happened to become parents. So then like there was never a moment where I was looking to connect with other moms in a sense, because I already had my homegirls that we would like, you know, we would smoke and stuff. But it's so crazy. When we started this podcast, I was like, I don't want to tell anybody that we know. Like we tell friends when we see them, but we didn't really like, I used to do stand up and I would promote myself a lot to all my friends and family, whatever. I was like, I just want this to kind of grow its own legs, and I just want to meet new people and see that other people are interested in the kind of stuff we want to talk about, you know? And then when you see people are like genuinely interested in you and you start building relationships with these people, I blew my mind. And at a time when I think we all needed it so much, because we were like, we weren't expecting to be locked up in our houses for like a year.
Right?
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So I think you can tell in the community, like you could tell that some people really need that connection, and it's been fucking awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's been like super cool. And like, I know that like in the beginning, you guys weren't like saying who you were. And then like, you know, seeing you guys like come out and like, I thought that was really cool too. You know what I mean? Cause like that takes a lot of courage. And like, to your point, like it is like, that was what I wrestled with too. I actually wasn't going to, but then I like messed up a setting when I uploaded it and I didn't know how to fix it. So I was like, well, I guess it's just going to be my name now. Like, so like, I was like, okay, like, I guess
there we go.
My abilities made that decision for me. Cause I probably wouldn't have done it, you know? And then it was like kind of like peeling back the onion, and it was like putting it on my LinkedIn profile and like putting it on, as like stupid as it sounds, right? Like your Facebook, like saying like that you're doing.
Are you kidding me? As stupid as it sounds, do you know how much fucking work we do with all this bullshit?
I mean, we're showing our faces now, but we still go by alias names because I can't have it come up on a Google search for me, because unfortunately I still work full time for a corporate company that if they did a Google search with me for me and they found that, they probably wouldn't be happy. They're going to see it as, you know, they see me as representing the company. So, and I'm doing this, they're going to associate that I'm saying the company's also endorsing this. So, you know, I still have to we still have to be careful with that.
I don't know. I like the idea too of having like just a show name. Like, I don't know. Like Madonna did it, guys. So I think
I like wouldn't even be able to think of a good one. That was like literally my excuse for not doing it.
We were really easy with it. It was just J and she got this clever, the Sunny D.
Because
you always
people
had
at work
Sunny
used
D.
to call me Sunny D, and I was like, whatever. Let's just it rolls. Let's just do it. Fuck it.
No, it's good though. I like it.
J's my first initial. That's all.
And I call her the captain because she's the one who rolls the J's.
Dude, okay, so that's a real thing. So like we grew a bunch of weed, and so like we have a ton of weed now, and it's totally awesome.
So jealous.
It's all behind me.
Were you the one that Were you the one that said that one of them had caught mold? Who did I read today? Somebody had one of.
Was it Mrs. Boysenbud?
But yeah, so we had some bud rot, and so we had to harvest early, which we learned so much over like the first the first time like doing it at like that full scale.
This was your first grow ever?
And it was outdoor, right?
grown in the
Large.
past,
They
but
were
like
huge.
and outdoors and like properly treated, not just like in a closet, you know, with what were those like water irrigation system ones?
The
Hydroponics.
Oh, hydro ones. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, we're growing tomatoes. But yeah, so we did that, and so it started. So we harvested it early. I'd say like 2 out of the 7 plants like were ready to go. And I mean, we had this like whole like fake what are those called? The gondola, not a gondola.
Like they had a tarp, like this
like a
thing
tarp. We had to tarp it off and
greenhouse
like
it basically.
yeah, because we got those fires that were burning.
Yeah.
The smoke
the
came
smoke
up.
came
So it like completely the last week would have been perfect. It would have been just sunny and warm and dry. And instead it was like smoky and like it totally like it
Oh
I mean,
my
it's
gosh.
awesome. I mean, we have like a whole bunch of these.
Yeah, you guys couldn't even like go outside and
What did
breathe,
you? So,
right? It was
so
like
you,
really
you
bad.
cured them already? Those are already ready to smoke.
No, they're
Curing?
almost.
We smoke a little bit of it. Some of
Yeah.
the stuff that we did first is like starting to be, but so that's like my point is like I keep like sneaking like buying like a couple J's here and there because like I can't roll them myself and sometimes I just want to smoke a J. So my husband just said he would start rolling 10 a week so I could just start pulling from it.
I just like the fact that I could just walk and buy. They like all the dispensers I go to, they know me when I walk in, like which one's my order because my order is like, you know, and I like it when they pull it out like that because I just buy like as many like different
You
pre-rolls,
try
'cause I want to
everything.
try everything because I love it so much. Like, and then like if I really like it, then I'll invest in flower. But like at the same time, I like smoking J's, so
They're so convenient.
if I can just buy them pre-rolled, then I will pay the upcharge.
Sometimes I go for a
How's the
run.
prices and taxes out there on your
They're not
stuff?
as bad as Cali,
They're
for
not as
sure.
bad as Cali. They're not as bad as
If you're buying like when you're buying like flour, it's pretty close to like what I would pay for it back in the Midwest.
yeah.
You know,
It's
Well-
pretty good. Like, I mean, like, and there's always deals too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, there's always deals.
Yeah.
So,
a rewards stuff where you can like get points and get percentages off? Do you guys have that?
yeah, there's like points. Some
Yeah.
people do rewards
Like
programs.
visits.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's one that does
Mhm.
points so that you get like you know one day where you get like 20% off or something, and then like other places.
I
when
just
they do
hoard
promos.
points. Do you guys like in general, like when I get Starbucks rewards, I hoard that shit.
I do hoard them too.
I do.
I wait till I'm gonna have a big purchase to use.
You
them.
are, yeah. Are you guys the kind that collect the keef like forever and ever and ever? Because that would be behaviors of collecting the keef.
Well,
do.
you know,
I
it's
do.
so
You do?
funny. So ours,
But I use that
our
in my
grinders,
flour
we've
then.
been using the same grinder for like 7 years.
So you're not collecting
And so
anymore?
we can't open it. So we don't know where it goes. Like,
Oh
or if
my
it's just
gosh.
getting, like, more and more and more
It's just
compressed.
stuck. That's
Yo.
why it's like
It's just so
Oh.
sticky you can't open the bottom part where the keef is.
You guys.
you're
hammer.
gonna get to a point where the screen you won't even go
It
through.
won't
so you're
even
not
Oh
gonna
my
pull
God,
it.
just smoke
I don't know.
it. I don't know. You
Yeah, right.
guys.
You know that
I
you can't
smoked it.
you
I felt
can't
like
keep
I
the
had-
keef really more than like 6 months because it's just like bud, like it loses potency after a while.
I just mix it over, but
This is
like
gonna be like
flour,
dirt then.
basically. Yeah, I just like when I do buy flour, when I do roll my joints, I do sprinkle it into the flour.
I like crowning the bowls with the keef. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what we would do. I guess I
I
shouldn't say
also
that.
have,
Maybe
like
maybe
because
he
I
does
dab
access
too,
it.
so I do. Sometimes I'll roll. Like,
You can
the-
roll it. Yeah, you roll it and distill it, and then you roll it around in keef. Get all fancy with it. What?
So would you say your favorite method of smoking is pre-rolls? You guys like to buy pre-rolls or
I like
is-
pipes too.
pipes?
Yeah, pre-rolls and I
Like
would
glass
say
and
yeah.
pre-rolls. Yeah.
Like
Are you into
bubble.
bongs? Because I didn't have a bong until we started doing this podcast and we started our Instagram, and then we started seeing all these awesome moms taking bong rips, and I was like, I want a bong.
Yeah, we were like, damn, we want one of those.
Bongs are like I feel like it's like
My 18th birthday,
like a-
I had to pick between
I've heard
doing.
it.
They're very efficient though. You take like one good
I
rip
love
and
that.
no, but they're like big dick power. You know what I mean? Like a multiple. I was trying to think of a better female.
No, that's
like,
yeah,
way to
that's
say it.
But it
It's
is.
like ovary, like ovary.
No, it's like then you
But
just
it's just like, but it's
like
just like
these are my
it's like-
balls, like my cojones on the table.
oh, I
but,
can't
like,
do those huge bong
Oh
rips
my God,
though.
I've seen there's some
Mine are
ladies.
little.
There's some ladies that we
My
follow
18th
that are like,
birthday,
They have like lungs of steel, these women.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
No, my 18th birthday, these kids, like, we used to go to their house. We used to like just like smoke up all the time in their little tiny shack. And they said on my 18th birthday, I had to either take 18 bong rips or I had to drink like a
Sounds like
full
hazing.
glass of Crown Royal. And I was like, I'll do
The bong rips. I would have done the bong rips.
They're like, what? And they're like, each one of them got to pull up all the smoke from me. And this one guy, he would just milk it. It was
my God.
I did all 18. And then I stood up, I was like, all right, peace. And like walked out and you're like, what the hell? Like, I passed out and didn't wake up until like 30 hours later.
Oh my gosh.
So I was
Happy birthday.
Yeah, but it was amazing. But like after that, like I had so much street cred. I remember like she could smoke a lot of weed. I was like, you guys have no idea. I like crawled to my bed and fell asleep.
So you were 18. So how old were you when you first started smoking cannabis?
14.
14? I was 14 when I first tried it. I wasn't like smoking regularly, but. And you, Kate?
I think I was like 16. I think I was like 16, 17 around there. No, I want to say 16. Yeah.
How was your... Do you mind sharing your first time smoking stories with us?
Oh, for sure. Yours is like really good. You can go first. I'll go next.
So it was my 14th birthday, and I convinced
birthdays are a big thing for you.
Yeah.
I love like when people celebrate me.
That's true.
So I convinced my parents to rent like this hotel room in this like there's a Holiday Inn that had like one of those indoor water slide thingies. So I convinced them. Yes, it was that one. I convinced them to let me have a hotel room, like have my friends that stay, and they just rent it and leave, right? So we did that, and we just had these like random like kids show up, and we just smoked pot. I remember like
as unsupervised 14s are usually to do.
Yeah. So I remember we didn't have anything to smoke it out of except for this, like this homemade bong looking thing that was like made out of like a container with like these copper pipes, and then the
like
bowl,
someone's brother made it.
Yeah, and there was so much like glue, like just
my God, does not sound safe to smoke out of.
This is really safe to smoke out of. You guys do this all the time. And then the bowl was a flower pot, like one of those little tiny clay flower pots with like just this mesh like that he took from like a sink thing.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that is some MacGyver shit.
Amazing natural things going into my lungs with weed. And I just remember, I remember exactly when I felt it hit, because like when I felt the high, like because I was standing on this chair trying to take a picture, and the next thing I knew I was on the ground, and I was like, what happened? And my friend was like, you literally just like face planted, and I had no idea because I was like so stoned. I was just like, like
that's crazy.
Super
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Mine was like so stereotypical. I was in the back of my buddy's Jetta and we made just like out of a water bottle and like a Bic pen, like, you know, burn the hole like a little water bubbler, and then like oh God, was it like aluminum foil, and then you put the hole in it, like so then that was that. And then I just remember like sitting in the back, and of course we were listening to like Dave Matthews or something.
Oh yes. Nice.
So shameful, but I have like literally no regret, and I am so proud. Like I love Dave
Tupac. Mine was like all of the like.
Yeah, I was listening to rap music when I was smoking for the first time.
Dude, I listened to rap music when I smoked too. It's just not my first time.
No, that was like, and I was like, now
that's
I know
what was in when I was
Bone Thugs, like their weed song. I was like, oh yes. Must get higher
it's all
and
about
higher
the
and
beat.
higher.
It's all like the beat.
But the lyrics started, you can actually understand them all when you're really stoned.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, yes, but Dave Matthews.
You can understand.
Hey, I was into Dave Matthews for a while too there. And then
Dave
I went
Matthews
to a concert.
is a shit, but I actually didn't get into them until I was older. I was like in my early 20s when I discovered them. When I was 14, I was listening to like Tupac and Biggie and stuff like that. Yeah. All my CDs were all rap music. I think the only like rock I had in there was the Alanis Morissette Jagged Little Pill album.
Can we all not just sing that freaking album from the beginning to end?
Album, yeah.
Everybody.
And the good song at the end, I was like, you knew people were true Alanis fans if they listened like 13 seconds or 30. What was it, like 3 minutes past?
Yeah.
Like, Crazy. I was like, oh, you know what I feel.
The secret song.
Funny. My parents wouldn't let me have the little parental warning like stickers on it. So I started off with this trick in order to score my first Nelly CD, where I would peel off the price tag and I would position it over the label.
Smart.
And then I would make sure my dad was the one taking us because he definitely wouldn't do it. Like I had to be on my A game and the stickers had to like really align if it was my mom. So between that and Third Eye Blind, Semi-Charmed Life single, I mean.
Are any of your kids canna babies? Did you at all consume during pregnancy, during any of them?
So with my first, I like didn't really. I took like a hit immediately after I found out because it was like habit. Like I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, oh my God, you know? And so I didn't really do that after. And I didn't really do it a ton while I was nursing him. And then with my daughter, I did it a couple times while I was pregnant. And then I started like the minute that she was born. Like my husband brought me an edible like in the hospital, which was awesome because I didn't have any responsibilities, so I could just like chill out.
Oh my God, for real. The second time especially you get it. So now you're like, oh, okay, I can chill a little bit.
Totally. I'm like, I know that you're not gonna like, you know, hopefully stop breathing for any reason. I don't have to like sit there and like watch your chest all night. Right?
Yeah, like with a first.
Right. And then with the third, well, so I found out about the third like the week I weaned my second, like they're like 20 months apart. And so I just was like, and then I just kept smoking the whole time.
When she came to work, I was like, we're going to go outside and smoke and talk about this. She's like, but I was like, no, we're going outside and smoking and talking about this. But I have a can of baby. I smoked during because it's like, you know, like I had to do something so I could be functional. Like I couldn't take, you know, my ADD meds, like they, you know, like of all the things that you can do, like there really is like the least side effect negative cannabis, you know, like everything else I took or was like one or caffeine or anything that makes your heart rate increase, like all these issues that can be really bad for. And I was really upfront with my doctor about it.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Did your doctors know, and how were they about it? Being out there in the West Coast in an illegal state, I'm assuming they're a little more understanding
as well. Like, so like before I moved out, when I was in an illegal state too, I told my doctors, like, this is everything this is my life. Like I smoke weed, a lot of it. You know, I take Adderall and I drink a ton of caffeine. Like I'm not going to give up all of them because I just can't. Like what are the worst? Rank them for me from worst to best. And that's what I'm going to do. Like try to, you know, minimize. And every one of the doctors that I've talked to, like, you know, different like OBGYNs and just like, they've all said like from worst, it was like because of the effects that it has on your baby, it was like the Adderall, because a side effect is rapid heart rate and all that, right? Even though I didn't personally have that, but it could happen because your body changes when you're pregnant. And then caffeine, and then they're like the least of it was good, so they didn't really care. It actually was what helped me. Like I think why I didn't have as much like morning sickness or anything like that, and still had an appetite to want to eat or make myself eat when I needed to because of it. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just so much about not being stressed out. I think that's like such and whatever that means for you, you know what I mean? I think like such a thing that's like really lost kind of right now is just like moderation. Like if you can kind of just be moderate about it, like chances of like you don't have to be doing like, you know, or do it, you know, it's your body. Like if you want to do dabs all day, that's totally fine. Like, and if you don't, then don't. Or if you want to do it, like whatever helps you, you know. I think that's like the big thing too, is it might not be the same one person to another.
Did you notice a big difference, because you had 3 pregnancies, and did you notice a big difference in the third, that since you were actually consuming cannabis throughout, would you say it was like less stressful? You had less like symptoms?
I was in like totally different mindsets every time, you know what I mean? And with the last one, like it was not planned, you know what I mean? And like, he's amazing and I love him and I couldn't picture, you know, being here without him. But yeah, I mean, that was just kind of like, I just was getting done with nursing and like that like glimpse of freedom for like less than a week, you know what I mean? And then being like, oh shit, like
doing not it only all over again.
Right. All over again. Yeah. And you're outnumbered. And like, I mean, we had just bought a house that then like we had to do an addition on because we weren't going to have enough room. Like in Seattle, real estate's wild. So like our house was 950 square feet. So like we had 2 dogs, my husband, myself, and then 2 kids. And then we are going to have it was just like not going to even like be feasible. And so, so that was wild. So it was just like a whole lot of stuff, like just had to get fast tracked. Cause like we knew we were going to eventually do it, but then it was like, no, you have to do it now.
Yeah.
So it was just a whole bunch of stuff like that. So I'd say like overall, like that really helped me just be a little bit more okay with it because I wasn't feeling I was having to give up all of my identity and all of like the control over my body or all of the options that I have to cope with life stresses, like again, you know? So I was like, well, here we are. Like, I think by then I had done, a little bit more like research into like how bad stress is on like the baby. Cause I'm actually like a really kind of tight-wound person. So, I mean, that's not good. And that's like what affects me negatively, like the worst, I think.
And like, when I was pregnant too, I was a new job, new city, when moved pregnant all at the same time. And so like for me too, it's like, I think, definitely the weed helped just like not necessarily, I don't know, my only pregnancy, I have no idea, or like to term, like I have no idea like what, if it affected my pregnancy any differently, but I know that everything else that I could have been stressed about was like, that helped a lot. And like my consumption was like, it was so much less just naturally because like it affected me differently. Like I could smoke less and get higher basically, or get not like to like super stone, like, baked or whatever, but like to like, when I'm functioning. So like before I go to work or whatever, that level, but I didn't need quite as much. And it was also like compounded with the fact that I was now in a legal state where it's like, I can consume it different ways and get more concentrated, if I needed. So, but yeah, it was also kind of like just trying it out. My doctor was like, just do everything in moderation because your body reacts to everything differently and your body could really negatively react to the weed too. So like, she's like, just don't like go in like nothing's changed. Just take it a little bit at a time and see where you're at. So like that helps too, that she wasn't like, no, but she was like, absolutely, I want you to cut like, certain things out and try to do that first.
I didn't like the doctor I had with my daughter. We had just like moved to Seattle when we found out. So it was like, I didn't have time to like really like vet out doctors. And this woman, like really tried to shame me for still wanting to like be active and like lift weights and like do things that I had been doing a lot. So I was like, if you're not down with exercise, something tells me you're not going to be down with me smoking weed either.
That doesn't make any sense. Of course you should continue working out if it was part of your routine and your regular. Well, it's fine
like,
and safe.
Worth risking the baby? And I was like,
safer,
I was like, well, my sanity is in tie up there too. So wasn't a good match. But I mean, she didn't even deliver the baby. So it was just like, just kind of whatever. If you're a competent doctor, we don't have to be besties. So, and then I really liked my doctor with my son a whole lot. I don't really, I guess, remember if I told them that I was consuming. I think I was kind of on the like, if she directly asks me like the question, or if it comes up in my pee and she sees it, like, then like we'll have the conversation, because afterwards, like she still like was my doctor afterwards, right? And so I went in to see her and I said something about pot, and she was like, oh, well, there's a lot of studies. And I was just like, huh, really? I was like, you were so great. And then like, I'm like, oh, okay. That kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. So now I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back there, because of that, to your point, like I want someone who's going to be like chill with it. Like I go to the same doctor as Eunice, and like for something else, but like he's awesome because he's like, cool, tell me how it works. He's like, tell me how it interacts with that medication. You know what I mean? Like, tell me what you're taking into account when you're like,
I think it should be. Yeah, I think it should be. Doctors should be progressive thinking, because it's worse if they don't tell you that information. And I feel it's like when you're a parent, you kind of have to like be okay with your kids coming to you when certain shits hit the fan, That way they can always come to you and they don't feel like judged or shamed for certain things. Just like, look, let's learn from this mistake and move on. And you're not feeling like shame. So you hide stuff. I feel like doctors should be open like that too, because if not, you're hiding stuff and then that's going to affect whatever care you get because it's not part of your,
He only knows what they know what they can get from you, what you tell them, and then what they can get from your blood and stuff, like, those kind of things. But like, if you don't like, and that's something that when I was diagnosed with ADD, that my doctor was like, he's like, this is a safe place. I'm not going to tell anyone. You have to tell me what you're doing, because he's like, if I give you medication based off of what I know, and you tell me leave out something really important, like every day I consume this much X, whatever, or blank space. Although I do like X. If you don't, I could diagnose you with something that reacts horribly and we'll never know why. It could get really sick. Like, it could really hurt you.
Yeah, they need to know all the information to really be able to treat you.
Yeah, but then too, it has the other thing is they're advocates for you, but if you're honest with them, they can also turn around and like, when you have the baby, they can test you. It's up to them.
I don't know.
That's why, and that's like in a legal state too. Like, you still have to look for doctors that are okay with it.
Maybe they just didn't care.
Yeah, but I think even though we're in a legal state now, like, it doesn't mean all the doctors are cool with it. Like, there's a lot of hospitals and doctors that are like, and so like it's you're still got to shop around and find someone that's like fits like everything. Like, I went at a hospital that like. I would what I liked about my doctors, like, is that like I had appointments with multiple doctors, because if like you're rarely going to have your doctor deliver, right? Unless they're scheduled to be there that day, like, so it wasn't like I would walk into a room and not know who's going to be like down in that area.
I mean, doctors that have been practicing for a very long time, they're going to have that older mindset. I mean, it wasn't really into the 90s that they really started learning more about the endocannabinoid system and how it interacts with our body and how all these things. So unless you're a really progressive doctor that really stays up to date, reading all the current research.
But I think if you're a doctor, just like you're a teacher, and they uphold you to educate yourself on a regular basis, the doctor needs to be up to fucking par with what's happening.
They do.
And if you're in a legal state and people are consuming, guess what?
You better
Pregnant women are consuming too, so you might as well open up, learn about it, and educate the people who you take care of.
Or like, I don't know, heaven forbid, like if people are openly using it anyways, ask if you can document their like ask if you can document it. Like there's such few studies, and like even the ones that are for cannabis use during pregnancy. You know what I mean? Like that's all, they're all just very small subsets of these things that are just like directional at best, but like not really, because it doesn't take into account like 99 other factors.
Well, just because it hasn't been legal for long enough for testing, or for enough testing to have accumulated to know everything that it can do. Still, we're still like trying to figure out like the plant itself, like, so that's why it's like so important that like it become legalized, because there's so much like education that we still need to do about it to really understand its benefits and really understand like how it works with other things, like with other drugs that are like, made in a lab.
It's so wild to me though that it's been around for such a long time, and they don't even have underground studies. Like, it's just what they just decided, oh, this shit's bad, and then they just
fund an underground study.
Yeah,
I mean, it's all about funding. It's all fucked up because it's all tied up in government money.
I mean, there are studies done like in abroad where it's legal. Like,
in Israel and other countries have way much more.
Right, but it's also still like they just started testing it not that long ago either.
And
like,
that's
think
too
about
small of a subset of a DNA pool anyway. You know what I mean?
I think like polio testing has existed longer than weed testing. So like it's just
they just need to deschedule it so they can do more scientific research.
Yeah.
That's it.
Trying to take all the fun stuff away. Coca-Cola used to be made with Coke.
Right? Yeah.
Want to do that?
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
we're gonna wrap it up because
I guess we could still do it.
Do you want to do it or not?
All right, we can do it. It's quick.
Do it now, because now I need to know what it is.
It's silly.
It's a Halloween themed this or that.
Okay.
Oh, I love games.
Okay, so chocolate or candy?
I want to do a strain name game with you guys.
I mean, we're happy.
We could do a follow-up just to do the strain.
Or maybe we do it on Instagram Live or something, like something cool like that. That'd be fun.
We should do that. It's really fun too with people online, because they can
We
They can
should. We
participate,
should.
too.
We remember we tried to do a live once and it never happened.
A long ass time ago.
LA, and I was in LA.
Look at
and
that
it was-
technical time problems that time and this time when we first got together again.
Life, bro.
Sparks are flying.
But we should do a live together. That would be fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
So okay. So this or that, chocolate or candy?
Oh, this is mean.
I know it's hard.
I know. I was like, but chocolate covered gummy bears.
That's cheating.
I know. Oh God, it's so one or the other for me, and it just depends on my mood. I would say candy,
Oh,
gummies specifically.
no, because I like eat all of it all the time. Like literally, like in bed, like on my nightstand, or like Sour Patch Kids, but watermelon only and pineapple.
I just like can't believe you have
And
all your
Kit Kat.
teeth when you tell me these stories. Like, because no matter what, like that sugar, I'm impressed.
To me,
Like, I
it's the mood also too.
like it.
It's for me. It's the mood also too. Like if I have my period, it's chocolate for sure. But any other time, it's usually going to be candy. Like I love Sour Patch and stuff. But Eunice, you haven't picked which one?
Because I would do it. I would just eat it all. I don't know if I could pick one. Like I literally, this is like really hard for me.
I know, but you just gotta
Okay, pick
figure it
one or the other. You're on an
Like
island.
right
You'll never
now,
see
like
the other
right
one
now.
again.
What do you feel like right this second? Do
Okay,
you feel
fine,
more like
right now.
candy or chocolate?
Oh my gosh, I want a Kit Kat and I want a gummy bear. I would do the one thing that I could eat like all day until my tongue bleeds because it literally has done this before. Tearjerker gum.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so candy.
Yeah, that shit is sour as fuck.
I love it,
And I really
my
like
my
sour
mouth
stuff
just
like
like
that.
puckered from it.
I ate a pound of it. I like just chewed it, and when it gets sweet, I'll spit it out and just do it until my.
Oh my god.
I would say chocolate.
You say chocolate?
Yeah.
Okay, so werewolves or vampires?
Oh man,
Vampires.
my mind immediately
Wait.
went to Twilight and
Ah!
Underworld. I was
Ew,
like,
no, that's
I
now when you
know.
said Twilight, I was like, no,
What is it?
vampires,
Team?
werewolves.
What is it? Team?
Teen Wolf?
No, it was
Can
Team
we try it?
Jake. Team. What was the other guy's name?
Jacob? or
Oh,
something?
Jake and
Oh.
what was it?
Edward?
Yeah, Edward Scissorhands.
Edward
I could not
Cullen.
stand that.
Edward
I don't know.
Cullen.
I wasn't into Twilight.
It
I read.
was cheesy as
Yeah.
I
fuck.
read the first one, and then the second one I couldn't even get halfway through it because it was too sappy, like teenage crybaby girl stuff.
Like, if you don't bite her, I'm gonna bite her.
I didn't finish
When
the
it's
series.
so
I came in strong and then was like, huh? Like
I
I kind of
kinda-
just got like bored.
I'm
I
totally a Harry Potter
I-
person. So if it was a Twilight or Harry Potter, it's Harry Potter all the way.
Harry Potter, like me too. Like, but I think for me, I don't know.
So Cedric was your gateway to Twilight.
I actually watched Twilight just because of Cedric, and I was like, oh, why? Why is he
Right.
glittering? Vampires should not shimmer in sunlight. That doesn't make sense. They're supposed to die.
Right, the book was better than the movie because I mean, like you don't want. I mean, my head wanted to be where it wanted to be for those, right? Like,
So, what were your decisions? You guys make a decision?
I think everybody's for vampires.
I
They're like
think
the
it was
sexiest.
vampires.
Vampires are like the
answer is
sexiest.
werewolf.
I was gonna say werewolf because of Twilight,
Yeah.
My son, I think we're gonna have him be
but I
Teen
don't
Wolf.
like
Teen Wolf
Teen
is
Wolf was the
awesome.
shit.
Yes,
Michael Jackson.
I think
Yes.
my son
No.
has like really
Oh,
long
Michael
curly
Jackson.
hair.
Oh,
right
I'm
now.
thinking Teen Wolf.
Oh, yeah, Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
This is not Michael Jackson, Michael J. Fox.
Okay, stop.
Or Michael Jackson. Oh my
Or the
god.
cartoons, too. I used to watch that on Saturday morning.
Oh,
Okay.
the cartoons were funny too. Yeah. those
Trick
were
or
good.
treat?
Oh,
Treat.
Yeah, I want candy too.
You're
I rather
trick. You're
treat.
trick.
You would trick people, wouldn't you?
Liar.
like
You would.
turn
I would
trick.
think she's a trickster.
Yeah, I think I would do. The
Um,
tricking is more. The tricking is more interesting. The tricking needs to be strategic. The treating, you just get the treat and
I
go.
know, but it's yummy.
Delicious. There's an end game. You know you're gonna win. If you try to go petty in a trick and it didn't work out, then you don't get that satisfaction.
So
But
true.
candy always leaves you happy.
And you're gonna have it for weeks. You're gonna have weeks
you
of
can
candy
take it
for
from your
weeks.
kids when you get older.
You know what's great? My son doesn't like candy. He loves to go trick or treating, but he doesn't like candy, so I get it all. Fantastic.
So lucky. I just buy it for myself and I don't give it out.
No one would come to your house. It's like it's
It's dark.
yeah.
I don't have any lights.
I have a hard
don't-
time
I-
pulling into her driveway.
Yeah, I intentionally.
So Halloween party or haunted house?
Oh, party.
Party. I'm
Party.
like terrified
I'm
of
so
scary
scared
things.
of I went through a haunted house and I got kicked out because I bit like something like reach their hand out.
Oh my God, I hate haunted houses. I can't be scared. I love Halloween. It's crazy, but I hate being scared. I'm party all the way.
Party.
Same, I love Halloween.
See?
Hate being scared.
Okay. What about this, guys? A party or a gathering?
Party. To me, Halloween's a party. Okay, I mean, I've been having a Halloween party for over 10 years. 15 years.
Last year, you remember my whole debacle was there was two places to go. One was a gathering and one was your party. And I was like, a gathering? If I got babysitters for my kids, I don't want to go to a gathering. I want to go to a goddamn party.
Fuck yeah!
Will they be playing board games at the gathering?
Yeah, snooze fest.
That's not Halloween.
It was a snooze fest.
I was so psyched about Halloween this year, guys. I mean, it was on a Saturday night with a full moon.
Saturday and daylight savings time the next day.
Yes, so you get an extra hour. I was so stoked. I was like, yes, this is gonna be fucking fantastic. And then, womp, 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 womp.
Rolling out from under us. That won't happen again. Like while our kids' ages matter.
I know, that's crazy. All right, so hayride or corn maze? Do you guys have those out there?
I love both.
She's like to both. She's like,
I never done any of that shit.
We don't have those here.
The anti-camping lady, do you think she's gonna get on a hayride? Get the fuck out of here.
I did it before. Like we had to. They made us do it.
Corn maze.
Like,
She'll be like, she'll be like, ew.
Like junior high, and I was like, what are we doing? Why?
I always
sit in the seat? Like, why do I have to sit on the shit? Like,
this is itchy. Who's having fun here? I'm not.
100%. That was like.
One time I was on it, I was having the time of my life. I stick my hand out and like, I don't know if you guys have ever like touched corn, but if it touches your hand, it can like slice your hand.
Oh my God. It's that sharp?
My hand as I'm like trying to like,
because of the leaves.
My hand out and like in the midst of so much fun I'm having with the corn. And
That's a really Halloween effect there where you come back with a sliced up hand. My God. So you like both hayrides and corn mazes, and you're like, neither.
She don't want to do neither.
So scary costume or funny costume?
Funny.
Probably funny.
I get scared so easily.
I prefer funny too.
Yeah.
My friend MJ, you guys, she was with us at the beginning. She came one year to our Halloween party as something scary, and then like nobody wanted to hang out with her because she was so fucking scary. Like nobody wanted to look at her because she was like one of the baby things from.
I know, but then they get into character, and you're just like, come on, bro.
She won
chill.
scariest costume.
She wants just like, okay, haha, you're funny, all right, and then they keep doing it, and you're just like, it's not funny anymore. It's like creepy. We don't want to talk to you anymore.
That's awesome. That's like that South Park where they say like true to character, even though all they need is to like give them like access to a phone or something. Like people are like getting shot. It's a tribute to people staying in character. It's so funny.
The last party she had too. There was a guy who was dressed up as a gladiator.
He was
bro, he was pissed.
God of War, the character from God of War, the video game.
He got there already wasted, and his odor matched his costume. He smelled
medieval.
bad.
He smelled medieval for sure.
He smelled like showers didn't exist in his time for real.
I just got like immediately. I was like,
yeah, because you could smell it. You can already smell it just talking about him.
People smell like cheese. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Someone smells like cheese. Ugh.
Or onions, straight onions, armpit onions.
That's me though. That's my nervous sweat. You just can always tell if I had a stressful situation earlier in the day. I am not kidding you.
You smell like onions.
I literally like when I sweat, like it doesn't stink. But if I had nervous sweat, I smell like a sub sandwich.
Like fajitas. The other day I smelled like fajitas.
The Doritos feet.
Doritos feet. Yeah. Doesn't dogs smell like Doritos sometime too when they're like funky? Dogs have a Dorito smell, right?
Yeah.
Dorito smell.
When
oh my
dogs
God.
are funky, they smell like Doritos.
Yeah.
Why are we eating Doritos if they smell like that?
Don't do Doritos for me.
I love Doritos.
Yes, please don't. I love Doritos.
I love Doritos too, but there's a distinctive smell.
Ranch or nacho?
Nacho.
Huh?
What do you mean hot nacho?
Either. They're all
What?
delicious.
What kind of Doritos?
Wait, she said Cool Ranch or Nacho.
Ranch or
That's
nacho.
really hard.
Cool Ranch.
I
all
like
the way.
Cool Ranch more, I think.
I love
Nacho.
Cool Ranch. Feels like a treat.
It
It
No one
is. It's so
Cool
good.
Ranch.
You know that over there, overseas, that's American flavor?
Oh, ranch is
Ranch is American flavor. Like, that's what they call it on their chips. It's like American.
Yeah, because we put that shit on everything, bro.
Because it's American. Ranch is not anywhere else. It's American.
Growing up in the Midwest, love cheese. Like my kids don't like. I'll like put cheese on stuff because I'm like a normal person, and like they'll be like, "We don't want cheese on that," and I'm like, and now like I'm like probably lactose intolerant, but I'm like avoiding it like the plague. I will just eat their extra cheese because I'm not gonna let like cheese go to waste.
Yeah, cheese is great. Cheese is really amazing.
Mama only eats the cheese.
Oh man, we got so sidetracked. Talking about
Yeah, we're back to this or that.
All right, we'll just pick a couple more. Okay, bottle feed a baby zombie or walk alone in a dark forest.
Walk alone in a dark forest. I'm not bottle feeding a kid. I'm done bottle feeding.
I don't want to be in
Zombies
a forest
or
in
not.
the daylight. I don't want to be in the forest.
I know. The dark really, really fucks with me so bad.
So you would rather baby feed the bottle feed the zombie, and you would go through the forest.
If I'm bottle feeding it, he's not eating me, so that's okay.
Are you bottle feeding him your arm?
Bottle, whatever's in the bottle, not my arm.
Yeah, somebody else's blood and flesh, not mine. It's in the bottle.
Put it in the blender.
That is so much better than what you could encounter in the forest at night.
Who knows?
Again,
could be nothing. You could
No,
just see the nice,
she's
beautiful stars.
she's never going camping, you
You
guys.
can never- again, the person that doesn't
Now
like
walk
camping.
alone in a dark forest, girl. Once it gets dark in the forest, that's the part that scared me the most of camping. Is like when the lights go out.
Like my peoples, I'm already in the car, so I can already be gone.
Okay, so a couple of these are good. Freddy or Jason?
Oh.
Did you watch those movies?
Jason is the hockey mask and Freddy is the silly face, right?
Freddy's the guy with the
Knife
claws
hands.
with the burned face that comes into your nightmares. And then Jason is the one with the hockey mask.
He has a chainsaw though.
With the chainsaw, yeah.
Do they ever take off the mask? Do we see what his real face looks like?
Did we? I don't know. I was
he's
always
a
too
weird-
afraid to watch it.
Isn't he the weird, like the white?
To me,
face
the
with
scariest.
hair
No,
like
that's
this?
Michael. That's
Michael
Michael.
Myers.
Michael Myers to me is the scariest.
Because he has no face.
He's not Jason,
No, that's not Jason. That's Michael Myers. That's from Halloween.
They were the same.
but doesn't he wear
No,
the
Jason's
mask
completely different. It is a mask, but
Lumberjack
okay, look.
mask.
Oh, he has a
Michael Myers wears the mask with the hair, and it's actually an old mask from like the 70s. It's supposed to be William Thatcher, I think, the guy that plays
Wow, this is like really deep.
what's his name?
This is more than I know more about the movie after this conversation because I haven't
Halloween scared the
can't
shit
watch
out of
them.
me.
I can't watch. I haven't seen them because I can't watch them.
And then Jason's the hockey mask, so it's completely different.
I get like lumberjack vibes. Like I'm almost into it. That's why I was like, was he cute?
I was like, I'd rather
Like,
do
would I like him?
Same. That's what I'm thinking too. I'd rather do that than like the guy with like
Yeah,
with the burn face.
My brother showed up to one of my Halloween parties dressed as Michael Myers, and I would not interact with him. I was very upset with him. Like, I screamed when I first saw him. Like, it was bad.
Freddy Krueger's like charismatic though.
I
no?
punched him in the face once because he scared me, and I
Yeah,
punched him.
again.
You know, what did he expect?
in character.
good job.
Okay, so just two more real quick. Stay together or split up?
For whom?
Like,
When you're being chased. You're being chased by one of these motherfuckers. You're going to stay together.
Eunice is like,
You guys
who's
are
being
dead,
chased?
bro.
Not me.
I think you guys are dead.
Eunice is like, I never stepped into that forest to begin with, so nobody's chasing me, bitch.
I honestly like.
He's like, I'm
I
over
don't
here
run.
feeding this nice baby child.
She's just going to run. I don't even know if we're together or split up.
No, but you should definitely just leave me.
I'm
not
a stick
gonna run.
together.
I don't run, so you'll die.
Predictably, I'm a stick together.
Yeah, stick together because then that way if he gets too close, you could run and leave, something behind.
You can
For
leave me
him to
behind,
kill.
But like, I don't feel like there's like. I feel like for real in my life, I feel like there's really no need to run. Like if you've done something and people are chasing you, you might have not done a good job of not getting caught. Maybe then you deserve to get caught.
Like by zombies.
It's a horror movie, though.
Yeah,
You gotta-
but Eunice is playing the Asian card again, where she hopes that
like,
she gets
"Oh, they're
let
gonna
off
see
of
me, and they're
dying. Where she's like, oh, the killer's gonna be like, oh, you're a nice Asian girl. We should just let her go. Like, come on, she didn't do anything wrong. All these other kids.
Teeing yourself up, Miss Innocent.
No, I like literally like I don't know. I feel like I would just like at some point be like we're gonna always have to keep running from these zombies. Like,
Oh, I don't think Eunice would survive in a zombie
it's not
apocalypse.
worth it.
All right. Well, the last one was run or hide, but I think I know. Your answer's, I guess, hide. You said you're not going to run.
Hide. Eunice is like,
But
I would run. You like to run. You would probably run.
I would, but I'm actually a really, really good hider too, because like I don't know if I was like really flexible or like I don't know, whatever. So I always won hide and seek is what I'm trying to say. But like hiding under sinks is always a really good go-to one, or underneath upside down garbage cans, because like
people are not going to think, oh, they're not going to get in the trash can.
You gotta get a little gross, but you'll always win.
I was not.
Maybe you'll live.
Hide and seek. I was not really good at hiding.
There you had it. We had a really great time, and man, we talked so much. It was like almost 2 hours of interview there.
It was a long time. Yeah. It was fun.
We couldn't fill it onto the episode, but the entire interview is available on our Patreon. So absolutely, if you haven't checked out our Patreon, we do offer additional content. We do appreciate those who have already contributed. If you would like to follow up with Kate and Eunice, their Instagram and Twitter is Pot Moms Podcast. On Facebook, you could find them under Pot Moms Podcast as well. And their website is potmomspodcast.com. That's right, you guessed it. Potmomspod. I mean, you got to make it easy when you're on social media for people to find you.
Exactly.
It's crazy when people like when I'm on TikTok live and they're like, "What are you on Instagram?" We're like, "We're Pot Smoking Moms. We're Pot Smoking Moms everywhere we go." So, Pot Moms Podcast, we love you guys. Thanks so much for being on our show.
And keep an eye out because we're probably going to do stuff with them soon, maybe like a live or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But thanks so much for spending your time with us. We really appreciate any time you take the moment to listen to the Pot Smoking Moms. Thanks so much for contributing to our podcast. Lauren Hatzel, April Collins, Christy Rodriguez, Destiny Adams, Yanni Reyes, and Lauren Sotelo. We got a new one.
Thank you,
We
Lauren.
got a great interview from her from last episode, and she became a Patreon. She became a patron. Thank you so much, you guys.
We love you guys. Truly appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate each and every one of you. Follow, like, review, subscribe, potsmokingmoms.com. Thank you guys so much. Have
See ya.
a bitchin' rest of your day.